Are in the final few hours when it comes to the countdown to the 2020 Tokyo Games. Tomorrow morning, it all begins with the opening ceremony.
Our Keith Garvin live in Tokyo tonight, where the games are about to officially begin. Keith, good Friday afternoon to you.
Hello to you, Dominique and Chris. Yeah, behind me, a few more clouds than we've seen since we've been here in Tokyo, but Tokyo Bay still a beautiful sight. A few hours away from the opening ceremony, and now finally, after a global pandemic being postponed for more than a year, the big moment is finally about to arrive. The countdown clock in Tokyo is coming down to its final moments. We are now less than the average work shift away from the opening ceremony, the official start of the 2020 Olympic Games. These virtual reality robots, the official mascots for the Olympics and Paralympics, are ready for action. But how much play will they see inside Olympic Stadium? Just Thursday, Olympic officials announced they would allow 950 non-athletes to attend the opening ceremony. That would include Olympic officials, journalists, politicians, and dignitaries like First Lady Dr. Jill Biden, who is leading the U.S. delegation in Tokyo. It is Mrs. Biden's first solo international trip as First Lady. Competition has already begun in several sports, but what about the threat of a last-second cancellation that came from a Japanese Olympic official earlier this week?
I think it would be a big problem if it's canceled.
Casey Wall was raised in Houston and Austin. His parents still live in Spring, but the UT grad has called Tokyo home for the past 21 years. Wall says while the country has deep worries about the pandemic, they have a lot riding on the Olympics.
I think what most people are worried about in Japan is they're in a tough situation. How can we show Japan's a great country? We're open, we're welcoming, we're responsible, we're thoughtful, we have this great infrastructure and great technology, but all of kind of the media and the story is it should be canceled.
Yeah, as we inch closer and closer to the opening ceremony, the chance, the likelihood of a cancellation less and less likely. But, around March of 2020, this whole world became unpredictable. So we will be watching intently the last few hours of that countdown clock. Reporting live from Tokyo, Keith Garvin, KPRC 2 News.
Keith, you know, we've been talking so much about the COVID threat, which is real for you all, but there's also another potential threat, and that's in the form of weather, we understand, in the coming days.
That is correct. Yes, come to Tokyo to cover the Olympics, and you might get to cover a typhoon. Yes, there actually are two typhoons that are not too far from Tokyo. One of them has passed and is going to make landfall in China. Another could be impacting Tokyo on Sunday and on Monday. When we first got here a few days ago, we had a briefing with NBC, the safety officials, and they said, in their estimation, 60% of the world's disasters actually happen in Japan, but they also said if you're going to be anywhere with a natural disaster occurring, you want to be in Japan because of the infrastructure and their technology. Their buildings are built for earthquakes and for high winds. We, of course, have covered plenty of hurricanes there in Houston. Hurricane, typhoon, same thing. They just call them typhoons on this side of the world. So I didn't bring, I brought an umbrella, didn't bring my rain gear, so I don't know how much the umbrella is going to help if we are dealing with a typhoon. But we're going to see what happens. You know, it's just another curveball coming for the folks here in Tokyo for these Olympic Games.
It's been a wild ride and hadn't even started yet.
I'm telling you, bring a Houstonian to Tokyo, and now you get storms, see?
There you go. All right, Keith, stay safe. Good reporting.